new video on health and wellness. Today I have the privilege of talking to some of my friends, and we'll be talking a little bit about dancing and health, and how dancing plays an important part of health. So tonight I have with me, I have Zuli, and I have Kathy, I have Louisa, and I have Christina. And we're just going to talk a little bit more. It's a nice evening, and we're just here to have fun and enjoy a little bit about our lives as it pertains to health. So, Kathy, I want to start with you because I remember when we did the dancing thing. It was my first time being new to Fort Lauderdale. That was awesome. I mean, all of you were so fun in that. Tell us a little bit about dancing thing.
Sure, yeah. So, Dancing Thing, it's a project that I came up with about a couple of years ago. And it's all about, so Zumba, as you know, it's a dance program. And it's fun, it's healthy, and so with that, you are able to grab the community and dance for a purpose.
Yeah.
So Dancing Thing benefits breast cancer, and last year, 2016, was for the American Cancer Society. And so every year we do it around the end of October, beginning of November, and it's just a marathon of dance, and we just have fun.
It was cool. It was cool. It was great being in that auditorium and seeing all of you on stage and seeing everybody in their pink and everybody in coordination. It was so cool. And I know, Julie, you do like about 100 classes somewhere. Tell us about your classes and your health. How did you get involved in dancing for your health?
Well, I've been dancing since I was 4 years old, so dance has always been a part of my life. I got into Zumba. I actually started working for the company, and that's how I got with the company, becoming a Zumba member. And after a couple of years, I've always wanted to have my own dance studio, and always really wanted to teach, and that was one of the things my mother would always tell me, like, become a good fitness instructor, you're a good dancer, you love dancing. And I did, and I just put myself out there. Started just, working at gyms, having my own classes, and my schedule like full of classes.
How does your students, they take? Because most of the Zumba classes, you have students who are maybe 13 to 70. I've seen, 70-year-olds in our class. Christina, you see that kind of age difference? How do they take it? Are they there to just, look like you? Are there because they love dance or what?
Well, depending on their age difference, like I have a lady that's 65 years old, and she is there with so many of us just taking Zumba. She now takes my Strong by Zumba class, which is a hip class.
Oh my God, I'm kind of scared of Strong. Every time I hear somebody say Strong by Zumba, I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, well, I told her, you're going to have to modify a few things, take care of yourself, you only, your body, I can yell and scream all I want, but you're going to have to tell me, hey, calm down, crazy, what I mean? And so it's just amazing to see her still come.
Yeah.
And she comes to all the classes. She's like, what is that I'm doing? Tell her about that. She's like, calm down.
So you love that person in the class, and it's like, come on, maybe you're kind of getting in the way. And speaking of she's 65, that is awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. And I know Louisa is the only one in here who's not an instructor. Like myself, I'm not one, and I know you have a 13-year-old. How does that play into being fit? Because I see you every Saturday morning in your class dancing. How does that play in your health and wellness?
Well, you have to have a work and life balance. I think for everybody it's super important. I also have a full-time job, and I started dancing only a year ago. My fitness stuff was completely different from these, but I just swung by that stuff and just fell in love with how happy it made me feel. I was not naturally a dancer like all of you. And it was very challenging for me because I'm not the most coordinated person. But it was just such instant joy. And the connection that you make dancing is just something I've never experienced. But you just balance your life, organize the kids, have activities for them, and then you have to take time for yourself.
You made a very good point about being not coordinated. Because when I say to people, come join this class with me, it's so awesome. They go, well, I can't dance, I'm not balanced. How do you talk to your students to say it's about your health and it's about having fun, What do you tell your students who say, I'm not going to come because I can't dance?
So actually that's very common. A lot of the students, when they first start can't dance. I can't, I'm not coordinating. So I always tell them to strive once. It's all about having fun. And yes, it takes a little bit sometimes to, get the steps, but once you start coming every time, we repeat the steps towards the dance, so you are able to catch it. Maybe not the first time, but the second time, the third time, until you actually say, I'm dancing. And since you're having fun, you're sweating, you're doing your cardio, and you feel so much better out of it. So it takes a little bit at the beginning, but you're having so much fun that you forget that you're actually not coordinated, and you're just dancing all of a sudden.
Yeah, I know. And I know you do strong body Zumba, and I know, Kathy, you told me on Thursday. Do you do any kind of weights with your dancing, or just?
I'm also a Pilates instructor.
Oh my gosh, that's
so,
cool.
yeah. So when I first became a group fitness instructor, I was really leaning towards Pilates, and then Zumba came into my life. And kind of Pilates and Zumba dancing go together because a lot of the dancers did Pilates to strengthen their bodies for dance. So yeah, Pilates, I do some sculpting, and I also am a strong instructor. It's just a matter of like getting myself out there and teaching.
I know. Christina is all pumped up because Christina is like nothing for me. When you're strong, when you think of age, and that's a big part of the whole keeping fit and being healthy and wellness. Age is important, but it's not that important because you talk about your 65-year-old student.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? You have so much fun in it, and you have to admit the best point. You modify your movement. You just have to modify your movement. So I remember like 5 years ago, I could dance and jump really high classes. Now I'm jumping like this high. I'm not going this high anymore because I'm like, ouch. At the end of the day. So it's important that
We know our limits.
exactly. We know what it is. So this is awesome, and I'm glad that I have friends like you. But I can say, I'm going to have this class. I know I want to try strong, Lord help me. But I want to try strong by myself. And it's great to have people like Lisa who has a life and is not coordinated like she thinks. But I see her dance in the class, and you look very coordinated.
Yes, she does.
Well, it's taken a while. I mean, it's taken a lot of perseverance and people coming, but I've had classes with all these three ladies, and they made me so good.
Yeah.
It's all them. It's nothing.
Well, that's another testament to the importance of doing it over and over, like you said, Kathy. After a while, you go into this class and you're like, and all the people are up front, and I'm always like up front when I know I'm tall. So I always say to the person behind me, can you see? Because that's how I learn quickly, because I'm right there and I can see. If I'm like behind someone, kick someone out. So if you can find your groove, if you're not a front row person, just go to the back and kind of groove into it, So this is great. And I know you are, but you can't look like this and be instructors and not show us what you guys know. So Louisa and I are just going to be your students, and we're all going to dance to a whole bunch of genre. And I like the fact that you all have like a different genre of dance that you teach. I know soon that you're going to be doing a little bit of a reggae calypso thing. That's my speed right there.
It's more like a fake Bruno Mars, hip-hop, funk, I try to make it fun for my class, so they, not only are they dancing and burning away, they're having fun at the same time, so I kind of like having fun telling for my class.
Yeah, that's cool. And Kathy, you're my salsa girl.
I'm doing salsa. So like you said, every instructor is actually different, and we all each have a different style. And it's usually kind of culture, the way we grew up and how we feel the music. So we each have a certain, we all do different genres in our classes, but we always have a type of genre that we identify with.
Yeah.
So mine is salsa.
Salsa. And Christina, do not go strong by Zumba.